Good evening, people. Good evening. It is Monday night, and your boy is here to talk a little talk. You feel me? We're gonna have a little fun. It's gonna be fun. So get your people in here. We're gonna get Dre on here in a little bit. But please invite all of your friends. Please share. Please make sure that you like and share and interact so that we can have a conversation, because I believe that conversation is important. I believe that we need to have conversation. So it's week 6 and we're about to talk a little bit. So y'all get everybody on here. Let me know you're on here as soon as you get on here so that we can so that I can make sure that I acknowledge you. Like I said, we should be getting Dre on here in a little bit. But in the meantime, in between time, I just want to say that I saw some good football last week. I felt like it's really what I expected. Like I've been telling people that I believe that this year for the county as a whole, I think that we were going to get to see some good football, some quality teams playing football. And so I've been really excited about it. I've really been excited about the possibilities of what teams could do. I felt like they were going to kind of take the strain of trying to figure out like rankings and where you could rank teams or where you should rank teams. They were going to take that away because it wasn't going to be necessary now that everybody is almost playing everybody. I think now that Rockledge and Titusville switched districts, like Titusville, Rockledge went up, Titusville fell into where Rockledge was. So with that, like I think that provided opportunity for everybody to play, because Titusville gets to play Cocoa and Astronaut. Titusville also gets to play Merritt Island because of district. Merritt Island, Palm Bay, Satellite, Egali, and who else is in that district? That might be all. That might be it. So Titusville might be the 15 in that district. But yeah, so I felt like it was pretty even. It was going to be a pretty even year, especially now that Heritage got the opportunity to play some of the teams that they wanted to play. I felt like it was going to be a year where we wouldn't have to struggle to see what teams were ranked where. And currently, I still believe Cocoa is one. Wide gap, probably like this, probably like that. And so it's a wide gap, and then it's kind of everybody else. It's kind of everybody else. But we're gonna get into that conversation because we are really going to have to do a deep dive into that because of so much that was at stake this week. So let's start. Holy Trinity lost this week. They lost to Foundation Academy. Foundation was a district game for them, I believe. Let me see. Let me double check that, because I think it was a district game for them when they played Foundation, but I'm not actually sure. But they ended up losing, and I really hate it because what we don't actually talk about is like how much one at like a school, like let me see. Yes. Yeah. So that was a district game for Holy Trinity. But one of the things I don't think we talk about enough is that like at schools like MCC and Holy Trinity, they lose one player that's equivalent to losing 5 to 10 at the average high school, just because of the way the numbers look at those schools. So I really feel bad that like Holy Trinity gets players hurt, and it ultimately affects the team in a major way. And so I hate that. I really do. I really hate that for them. And I think that they are better than, when healthy, they are better than some of the teams that they have been playing against. So hopefully they can turn it around. We will see. I'm not too sure. But Friday, Satellite and Palm Bay played. Satellite and Palm Bay, if you did not know, if you have not been keeping up, Satellite and Palm Bay were both winless to start this season. So it was like both 0-4. And Satellite beat Palm Bay on Friday. I have said that Palm Bay may be, this year, may be one of the worst teams, just because like they have good players. They have some good players. Like they got some guys over there, Hollywood, Larry Johnson, a couple other guys. They got good players, but it's just a bad brand of football being played right now. Like I don't know what it is. I want them to get it together. Like I wanted them to be better than they are. And like I don't know what it's gonna take. Like I think one of the things that may end up happening if they aren't careful is they just lose everybody to Egali, Melbourne, Heritage, maybe even Bayside. They may just lose kids to other places just because of lack of production. And nowadays, kids want to be where the winning is happening. Like maybe we not competing for state, but we got to almost absolutely try. So you got to absolutely try as much as possible. If you don't do nothing else, you got to at least be competitive. And so nobody like when you're losing every week, it takes a great coaching like maturity to be able to like keep the guys reeled in, keep people focused. You got 800 different things being said to you. You got people telling you suck. You got people telling you this. You got people telling you you can go. Your team suck, not you suck. You got people telling you your team suck. You got people telling you should go to another school. You got people telling you, oh, you can come over here, or you come. You know what I'm saying? Making promises, whether they're guaranteed or whether they're fulfilled or whether they're empty. Either way, you got so much. So it's so much going up against you in situations where people aren't winning. And even when you're winning, it's still people out there doing the same thing, but it's 3 times greater when you're not winning. And so I hate that for them. I really do hope that they are able to turn it around, because they are historically like I say a lot to a lot of people that I think that college football needs for Florida State to be good. Like it's the world is better when Florida State is good. You know what I'm saying? And I said that to say that I think that we should, we got to know that like when Palm Bay is good, the county is that much better. You see what I'm saying? Because you got not only the Cocoa Hot, not only the potential, the Rock Ledges or the Titusvilles or the Egalis, you got Palm Bay too. So it just adds to a better quality of the county when they are good. So we actually need them, contrary to popular belief, we need them to be good. So I hope they're able to turn it around. It hasn't been going well as of late, but they still got some time. They got some good district games coming up. And so I think even if they don't turn it around, the potential and the possibilities to turn it around, the opportunities will be presented to them. And so, man, and Coach Stefan, man, I got to tell you, man, you got to come back in the spaces, bro. You like, even if you losing, you still we not supposed to neglect the spaces, though. Like we ain't got no answer for nothing, bro. Like I need something, bro. Just a little something. You got to tell me something, man. Um, Osceola played Melbourne on Friday, and Melbourne has been much better this year than a lot of people expected. I know they're doing better than I expected. So, um, with that in mind, like I thought that I knew that Osceola is extremely talented, but I thought that Melbourne, if they could find a way to kind of keep it close, they could potentially win. But what Melbourne, like, I believe also that like there's certain games where you have to, you got to score. There's certain teams, excuse me, there's certain teams that you got to score 28 minimum to beat. You feel me? And so if you don't score anywhere near that, you are not beating these teams. It's just it's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. And so Osceola is definitely a team that if you don't got the ability to score 28 to beat them, then you're going to have to make it a defensive game and beat them that way. And so that didn't happen. And Osceola ended up beating Melbourne 48-7 on Friday, bro. Like beat them folks terribly. But even still, I got faith in what Melbourne's doing, even though Billy Palmer be telling me not to. I got faith in what they're doing. And yeah, we're gonna see. So, and that I don't think that loss. Let me see. Let me double check. Oh, that was a district loss for Melbourne. Um, but luckily they in a three-man district, so it's Osceola, Melbourne, and Vieira in the same district. So, even though they did take a loss, and even though they are 3-3, they only have one district loss, and they they only have one more district game, so that's cool. I like that for them. I like the possibilities for them. Even though they 3-3, I think they're a lot better. I know y'all don't always like to give kudos to 3-3, and sometimes I think teams are better than their record actually shows. And I think for them, that's kind of the story for them. I don't give these boys enough credit, but I'm gonna start giving them credit until they play us. Then it's different. But astronaut got a win. Um, Astronaut has been playing a different kind of schedule though. Like they've been playing an almost independent schedule, and so I kind of want to give them kudos. I wanna show love to them, but at the same time, it's kind of hard. So I don't know, man. But I'm giving them credit because they beat Bayside. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think that. Please don't get me wrong. I don't think that winning is easy, because if winning was easy, everybody would do it, and everybody's not winning. So I would. I'm not gonna discredit them, but they like some games they show up. Some games they make me scratch my head. It just depends on the day of the week. Because last week they lost to Holy Trinity, but this week you beat Bayside, which is, even though I would think that Bayside would have more talent, I don't know. And then they struggled with Space Coast a few. They went to overtime with Space Coast a few weeks ago, so that in itself is a whole nother thing, and it's just a lot. So I'm gonna give them their kudos. Shout out to Bailey. Shout out to Logan. Shout out to all those guys over there. Delvante. All those guys. I'm gonna give them credit. I'm not gonna take anything away from what they have been doing or what they've been trying to do. Because again, if winning was easy, everybody would do it. They are 4-2. Unfortunately, Their schedule is going to get a little wicked here in a little bit. Like, so they like I said, let's go back. Astronaut is currently playing one, two, three opponents that are independent. So it looks a little bit like it may, and then they play American Heritage, the private school. I think that was the Fort Pierce one or something like. No, it was Delray. Excuse me. That's where Franco went to high school. American Heritage in Delray, but yeah. So they lost to them. They lost to Holy Trinity, but they beat everybody else. So their schedule is kind of subpar. I don't really want to rain on their parade because they're trying to do the best they can because they're in the district with the Villages and they're in the district with Cocoa. But like I was about to say, they after this week they play Sebastian River. Shout out to Buddha James. They play Sebastian River this Friday, and then they'll go into 2 district games back to back, the Villages and Cocoa. And then they'll end their season versus Titusville, as everyone knows, in that game, and it's for the city championship. So, hopefully they show up. So we'll see. So whatever. Shout out to Astronaut for getting over. While we're on it, we got to talk about Space Coast because Space Coast won over Cocoa Beach. I heard that it was a little melee after the end, and people wanted to fight. They were so upset that they lost. That's kind of crazy, but yeah, Space Coast ended up getting a dub, 28-22 over Cocoa Beach. Kind of shocked me, even though I thought that Space Coast could play with them. I didn't know or believe that Space Coast could win this game just because Space Coast is kind of young. And so I try to give them the kudos where they deserve them. But at the same time, I was kind of concerned about their youth. But Coach Owens, shout out to my boy Coach Owens, man. Y'all gotta give it up in this comments for Coach Owens. Because my dog getting these wins, bro. They won 1 game last year, and that was the game to the state championship in the independent league. And now they have 5 wins, 5 quality wins. In those wins, they have outscored their opponents. So they probably don't put like, let me see. That is, okay, that's 90. So they done scored like 143 points on offense in their wins this year. So shout out to Coach Owens because they really getting it done. The independent league the week before, the week that was week 0 for the regular FHSAA was a real game for those teams, and so they only have 3 games left. They'll play Winter Springs this week, and then they'll play Oxbridge Academy as well as First Academy from Port St. Lucie after that. So I think they could probably come up with 7 wins, and that would be outrageous if they were able to somehow do that. Because, like I said, they did win state for the independent league last year, but they only won 1 game, and that was that state championship game. So that was that. Let's see. We talked about Osceola. We talked about Holy Trinity, Satellite, Space Coast, MCC. I gotta apologize to MCC. One thing I'm gonna do is always try to tell the truth. I'm gonna always try to tell the truth. I was not convinced. I think that MCC is good. I think that they have, I think they have a lot of pieces. I think they have the potential to be great. Good or great. Now, the problem with MCC is Neefy tried to say to me, he said to me, he was like, yeah, we could beat Coco. See, like that's where we run into these moments, because that wasn't even like, I didn't even solicit that lie from Nefi. Nefi just told me that lie. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm offended that he even told me that, because what was that for you to say, bro? Like, y'all can be good at what you do, where you do it, in the classification that you do it in. But you don't have to compare yourself to Coco. And I think that's like, Coco really makes things look too easy. And I say that all the time, and I mean that, because people will really be like, oh, we can beat, like, don't worry about beating Coco, worry about beating the teams in front of you. Worry about beating Vieira, which they did. They did. Like, part of me wants to say that Vieira is on a down year. Part of me wants to say that. However, there's also a part of me that can't say that. Even if Vieira is on a down year, they should have more kids than MCC. And sometimes, even if talent doesn't yield, you know what I'm saying? Like, you should just win because you got bodies, like, sometimes. But that was what it was. Brogan McNabb has been going absolutely insane, bro. Like, I got to tell y'all about Brogan real quick. Let me make sure I read the numbers off right, because I don't want y'all to get this wrong. Like, you got to give people their flowers when they necessary, bro. Right now, they 4-1, and Brogan McNabb has 1,368 all-purpose yards and 15 touchdowns. He's on pace right now. I think he's on pace to finish with about 30 total touchdowns and 50, probably, like, I don't know. I think I want to say probably going upward 2,600, 2,400, somewhere in that area of all-purpose yards. So I want to see. We got to see. But I got to give him his kudos. Let me pull this up real quick though, so we can make sure that that is right. All right. So let's see. All right. So right now, MCC has 5 games. They got 5 games left. Let me see, because they got some heat back to back though. Like, that's what's gonna be crazy for them, because they got to play Cardinal Newman. They play OCP and Heritage. So if he is able to get it, it's gonna be kind of tough, but I think he can do it. They play Halifax this week. I don't think that Halifax is that good, and they'll play True North Academy next week. I don't know who that is, but we'll see. But yeah, shout out to Brogan. So yeah, I think he can do something. I think he'll do special numbers. So right now he's at 772 passing yards and 596 rushing yards. Those passing yards are met with 8 touchdowns, and rushing is he has 7 touchdowns. So that's 14 before 5 games. Yeah, he could be on pace for about 30. I don't know though. We'll see. But I just think that Nefi didn't have to say, "Oh, they y'all better than Coco." Like, you could be good for y'all level, but they beat Vieira in such a way. Like, they got Noah Flores over there. They got they got a young boy. I gotta post this video over here so y'all can see it, because y'all ain't gonna believe it. I can't wait to post it. Yeah. His name's Howard. He liked that. He liked that. I like him. I like the way he played football. I like the way that boy played football. Howard do it. He's a running back, D-back over at MCC. So MCC has the pieces. I didn't think they had enough pieces to beat Vieira, but they made me a believer, and I made sure that when they made me a believer, I spoke to them making me a believer, because ain't no point in private kudos when you done gave private whatever, you know what I'm saying, apologies when you done made public statements. And so I'm gonna make sure I do that. So salute the MCC. Heritage has been in a little slump here lately. Let me say first off, shout out to that boy Demetrius Samuels, JR. That boy just he just recommitted to Syracuse, was committed to Florida for a few months. But Coach Fran Brown was able to reel him back in. So shout out to my dog right there, my young boy, Demetrius Samuels. Threw me for a loop, dog. He did. He definitely threw me for a loop, but I'm happy for you. So Heritage was on a 5-game losing streak. They lost to Seminole, they lost to Egali, they lost to Cocoa, and they lost to Vero, all in a span of 5 weeks. I said to Eddie Mays some months ago, maybe last month actually, August, yeah. I said to Eddie Mays, I was like, bro, like once they make it through this little patch of time, then they'll be able to know who they are or who they aren't. Luckily, none of those games counted towards their district playoff run, so that's a good part. However, they get the week off. They got a big dub against South Fort from Stuart, Florida. South Fort Bulldogs. They are currently 2-4, as well as they were 2-3 before they lost to Heritage. Heritage got a big dub. They said that boy Jackson was out there just picking them boys apart, just with precision, just down the field with it. So shout out to that boy Jackson Summerall leading that charge over there. The quarterback play really the only thing like they really needed, like, with some consistent quarterback play. That's what they've been needing for a while. So like I said, they'll have this week off. Then they'll be going to Westwood. They'll actually play Westwood at home. They'll play Mainland at home. Then they'll have Martin County for their last district game. And like I said, they'll finish the season with MCC at the end. So with all that in mind, now that we've talked about all of the games, I must talk about what I am here to talk about. What is Martell here to talk about? I need y'all. Y'all ain't commented yet. I need y'all to comment and ask me what I'm here to talk about now. Before we go, there's one subject that I cannot afford to let this thing go off before I talk about it. I want y'all to know. We didn't get the win. We did not get the win. But we stood on business and put our county on notice that not only are we getting better, but Titusville is whatever let me say this. Whatever you thought Titusville was not capable of, they showed you on Friday that they are absolutely, positively capable of it. Friday night, bro, salute one, number one. Before I salute anybody, salute to my young boy. I done known this kid all his life, Tank Harvey. shout out to Tank, man. I just like the way that Tank approaches the game of football. I like how he does it. I like his personality, his swagger, all that. Um, these boys, we just young. Titusville is just young as a team, and we just don't have a group of players oh, who all know the game at the same level. But they made me a believer on Friday night. And shout out to Coach Holmes, man, because late in the game they had a questionable fumble call that determined the outcome of the game. But Coach went out there and stood on business, got ejected from the game, took two penalties, two personal foul penalties, and for the team. But I felt like he sent the message. Like I felt like he had to do that. Excuse me. I felt like he had to do that to kind of show these young boys that I'm gonna ride with you. You know what I'm saying? Because deep down, like at the end of the game, that was terrible. That was a terrible call to let that call determine the game, and I think that was kind of unfair. But it was what it was. You can't change it, and but it is what it is. We put teams on notice to let them know that we serious. That's what we let teams know. Hey, the Ville is playing defense. The Ville is playing football. These boys is like, hey, I told them boys, I said, man, we don't care nothing about no stars. We don't care nothing about no offers. Them boys trolled me all week, man. I was chilling. Like, I knew, and this is why I was chilling. Like, I knew we had players injured. I knew I wasn't worried about the players we had injured, but I knew we had players injured. And so I was like, I ain't gonna say too much because I don't want to be like, oh, I gotta use some excuse at some point. Nah, I ain't using no excuse. I ain't making no excuses. I am literally dang. I'm literally trying to just stay positive and well, let's see what my team gonna do. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm trying to do. Let's see what the boys gonna do. The boys stood on business. That's what that's what happened. It was what it was. The boys stood on business. When it came down to it, we did what we were supposed to do. Shout out to Bill Jefferson. That boy is an animal. DJ Cooper, that young boy is an animal. Dwight Jenkins. I can't even name them all. Like Kamari Jackson, Jeremy Pruitt brought his hard hat and lunchbox all game. We both played both sides of the ball. Stood on business all game. So shout out to that boy. But yeah, man, the Ville really grew up. The Ville really grew up on Friday night, and I'm proud of them young boys. I think that one, if we were a healthy team, I think we would have beat them by 28. They only scored one time. They scored one time, and that score was on a field goal block. But we was out there picking them apart, bro. We was out there picking them apart, getting on their hat rack. Excuse me, and their quarterback just couldn't get the ball out. He was just trying to get the ball, get rid of it, trying to make sure them young boys ain't hit him. And so that was that. But I'm really proud of them. So yeah, we took a loss, but I know we're gonna see them again, and I'm excited about it. So if you're an Egali fan, supporter, or whatever, know it's coming. In second round, we're gonna be fully healthy. Everybody gonna be back. It ain't gonna be no need for no excuses. Alvarez, them boys talk trash. Fat was talking trash. And then when it came down to it, we had to get on them boys' hat, man. So and they wasn't expecting that. And I told them before the game, I said, man, the X factor in this game is not a player. They was like, what you talking about? Nah, the X factor in this game is Coach Luss, bro. Coach Luss, bro. Coach Luss had them boys in jail, bro. I asked him. I just asked him a question to see if he really be watching film for real. Asked that boy that question, that boy ain't answer it right. It was over. Hey, and then I want y'all to know, I'm gonna say this on here so y'all can know it. I'm gonna shout it from the highest of the 7 hills. This is when I knew we had them beat, right? I'm gonna tell y'all, like, I be trolling on Twitter, you know what I'm saying? I don't know why I do it. I just like doing it, but I'm trolling on Twitter. So people try to troll with me, like, but I'm gonna out troll you. So you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't gonna out troll me. But this is when I knew we had them. When they coach tweeted me 5 minutes before kickoff, the kick is about to go in there in 5 minutes, and this man is tweeting me on the sideline talking about where can he park a boat he ain't got. You know what I'm saying? I said, we got them. They not focused. They not focused. If you tweeting me 5 minutes before kickoff, you're not focused. And if you're not focused, that means that bottom ain't focused either. So that was what it was, man. But overall, I felt like it was a good week of football. I felt like it was a good slate of games. This week, though, is really that week, though. Like, this week, that week, like, it's almost 3 games of the week this week. Like, for real, for real. You got Cocoa in Norland at home. You got Titusville going to Sanford Seminole. You got Rockledge going to Mandarin. Egali got the week off. Bruh, it's going to be Heritage playing Westwood, or actually they might have a week off too, but let me double check that real quick because I don't want to be loud and wrong. But either way, it's a good week of football happening. So y'all will definitely be able to, no matter where you go, you'll be able to see some good football. Yeah, so Heritage got a week off. They'll play Westwood next week. But yeah, it'll be some good football. I've been talking trash to some of the Miami New Orleans fans because I really think that Coco gonna really beat them and beat them significantly. But we're gonna see. That's gonna be a really good game, man. And so we'll be back later in the week to kind of chop it up about predictions and things of that nature. It should be an interesting week. I'm excited though, and so we'll be back, man. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope y'all enjoyed tonight's recap. Please make sure that you share this video. Please make sure that you're following PRMD on all social media platforms. And subscribe to the YouTube channel, man. Please share that information with somebody so that they can tune in. If you don't have to be a supporter, but you don't have to be a hater. You know what I'm saying? So it's always something that we can be doing. And shout out to our sponsors, of course, man. I shared earlier some of the work that Drake Hawkins has done so that people can see it because he's our sponsor for the season. All Around Extreme Handyman Services, LLC. And you can contact him at 321-501-0379. And that's Cedric Drake Hawkins. And he's the father of Cedric and Samadre Hawkins. So y'all tap in with him and make sure you follow PRMD on all social media platforms. Have a good evening.